Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Vikramjit Singh. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I work with Enclave Immigration Services. Our office is in Mississauga, Ontario. Today, we are going to talk about the spouse open work permit for the international dependent of international students as well as the people who are on a postgraduate work permit. We'll talk about what the key regulatory requirement for that and what sort of a documentation is required in case you want to apply for your spouse open work permit. As you know that in Canada, basically, as per the public policy to increase the competitiveness of its educational institutes, government of Canada has allowed dependents of study permit holders to come to Canada on an open work permit. They don't require a LMIA for that. Similarly, the people who complete their studies after completion of their studies, if they are on a postgraduate work permit, they are also able to invite their spouse on an open work permit. However, there are specific conditions which needs to be met to make sure that you are eligible for that program. So we are going to talk about this topic in two sections. The first section, we are going to be talking about dependent of international students. And the second one, we are going to talk about dependents of spouse open work permit. Dependent of postgraduate work permit holders. Now, let's talk about what are the conditions or what are the requirements for people who are on international students and want to invite their spouses to come to Canada. First and the foremost things, what needs to happen is like there has to be proof of genuineness of relationship. So when we talk about the proof of genuineness relationship, you need to show that you meet that there is a either like you are married to that person, so there is a legal marriage. That's the first thing which needs to be determined. The second thing which needs to be determined is that the marriage has taken place is a genuine marriage, right? It's not done to take any advantage of under the immigration rule, basically. So you haven't done the marriage to come to Canada, basically. That's not something which should be there, basically. So you need to make sure the marriage is genuine and it has not been done to take any advantage of immigration rules. So, what are the documents or what sort of information you can provide as a proof of your genuineness of marriage? So you can think in terms of you can provide your legal marriage certificate. That's the first thing which you should think about. The other things you could talk about is basically you can provide a letter from your side and your spouse side, stating in terms of like how you came to know each other, how long you have been known to each other, explaining about your situation to the visa officer, like how you got into the relationship with each other. That's important thing. Other thing you can provide is like you can also think in terms of providing the proof of your marriages, like things which could be done in that scenario is things like your wedding proof, basically. So wedding invitation, maybe the proof from friends, from the family members, and it could also be the proof from your uh, you know uh, affidavits. So those sort of a documents are going to be could be there. You can also include your the documentation on your social media profiles, right? Like for example, Facebook, Insta, whichever, like you have been putting reels together. The proof of ongoing communication, which could be in form of like your WhatsApp messages, or it could be in terms of the phone calls, it could be in terms of other things which could also be done is in terms of the financial dependency on each other, which could be done through the joint accounts or could be done through maybe any kind of the financial remittances you have done to each other, maybe the support you have provided to your spouse for her studies or his studies, basically. So those are the financial documents could be included. Other things could also be included is in terms of is like maybe any gift exchanges you have done. So as much as so you should think in terms of any documentation you could think about proving that the marriage between the two people, like the whoever is the principal applicant and whoever is here in Canada on a legal status, that there is a genuineness of relationship and these people are dependent on each other physically, emotionally, and financially. That is something which needs to be demonstrated through the documents. Other key requirement is in terms of the proof of status of the the international student. So what are the documents you could use for that? Like, first thing which you need to do is you need to include your study permit document, so which should show that, like, okay, there is study permit document is valid, and the minimum length of validity should at the time of application should be 6 months. You should also include your proof of enrollment from the college. You should include any results, midterm results, or any provisional results you have received from the college. You should include your letter of acceptance, and you should these are the documents you should be including with your application to prove that yes, you meet that eligibility criteria and you are able to apply for the spouse open work permit without having an LMIA. So these are the key requirements for the people who are here on the study permit. What about if you, let's say, like, you have already applied for your study permit, you're on a study permit, you have applied for the spouse open work permit, in between your studies is completed, right? And in that situation, how you can ensure that your application is still ongoing and the visa officer could make a positive decision. In that scenario, what needs to happen is you need to change your status from the study permit status to the postgraduate work permit. And along with that, what you also need to have is, like, when you change your status from the student to the postgraduate work permit, then your application is assessed under the skilled work category. In that scenario, what you need to have is you need to prove, along with your authorization to work in Canada, you also need to prove that you have a skill level 0 AB job with you. And you also, to prove that, basically what you would require is you would require a detailed letter from the employer stating your position, your number of hours you have been working, what sort of the job duties you're going to have, what wage rates you're going to have. So you have to have a complete letter issued from the employer which could attest to the skill level. So which could be used by the visa officer to determine whether you fall into NOC 0 AB. Along with that, what are the documents which you need to provide? You also need to provide your pay stubs, which is a proof that you have been working for a certain hours and you have been paid for that particular position. And along with that, what you also need to ensure is that you provide the bank statements, which shows that those money has been remitted into your account, which kind of proves that, like, okay, you have a genuine offer of employment from an employer meeting the NOC 0 AB requirement. And also those payments have been made to you. So it's earned, work, like you are being paid in terms of the wages for that particular work. Otherwise, if it is a voluntary work or any kind of work where the payment has not been made, you will not meet the requirement under this regulation. So if you have changed your status from student to the postgraduate work permit, you need to make sure you supply your letter of employment along with 3 pay stubs and the bank statements proving that you have been getting paid in for those particular checks or whatever direct transfers for the work you have done for that employer. Apart from these two key important requirements, what are the other requirements which needs to be fulfilled to get a successful spouse open work permit application? Things you need to look for is, like, your spouse open work permit again is a temporary status application, so it gives a temporary status to you. So you need to show to the visa officer that you have proofs and means to go back to the country. So the ties to the home country needs to be established. Your employment status in your home country needs to be established. And along with that, you also have to make sure that you are able to show enough proof of funds, which will show that, like, you will be able to take care of your living expenses while you stay in Canada. So make sure that your application is complete. You meet all the regulation requirement whenever you are planning to submit your application for spouse open work permit. In case you need professional help, we'll be happy to assist you. You can reach out to us on 416-271-4371. 416-271-4371. You can also send an email to us at info@enclaveimmigration.ca, or you can send a message to our on social media platform. We'll be happy to assist you with your spouse open work permit application. If you have any questions and concerns, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.